In the farthest stretch of the Orion expanse, where starfire drifted like ancient dust and the void hummed with forgotten wars, humanity's flame burned defiantly against the cold, endless dark, and the crew of the TSS Horizon stood as the last sliver of unpredictable, stubborn, beautifully chaotic danger the galaxy never learned how to anticipate. Captain Rion Solas watched the cosmic ripple of their slipstream fade behind them, the bridge lights flickering gold across his face as his daughter Lyra stabilized the overloaded reactors with hands that shook not from fear, but from the weight of the discovery she carried, that humans were tangled in the legacy of the architects, a mystery older than the Dominion, older than the dawn of recorded galactic memory. And the moment the Horizon emerged into the orbit of the abandoned world of Kaler Prime, the sensors erupted with silent screams, heatless signatures, the ghost print of billions of vanished lives, a hollow planet where cities still stood in perfect condition, lights still flickering across automated towers, doors still sliding open as if expecting people who would never return, their sudden absence like a scar across reality. Seren Valek, the warrior forged from urban ruins and battlefield dust, gripped her plasma-forged blade as she stepped out into the windless streets, her armored boots clicking against concrete that held no footprints, no blood, no bodies, just an eerie, untouched silence that pressed into their bones like the whisper of a predator. While Taro Wynn muttered sarcastic remarks that failed to hide the tremor beneath them as he scanned the sky for movement, and Sev, the combat android with emerging intuition, processed thousands of probabilities per second, yet could not reconcile the glowing golden static that flickered at the edge of his vision, a signature he now recognized too well, the mark of architect technology woven into the Dominion's rebirth. And when they descended into the megastructure buried beneath the capital, the air shimmered with pulsing veins of luminescent alloy that responded to Lyra's touch with soft harmonic resonance, as if the structure itself remembered her, recognized her, claimed her, and deep within its heart they found the survivors who were no longer survivors, their eyes glowing with golden fractal circuitry, their movements smooth and wrong, their voices layered with Dominion commands, speaking in tones that were human yet hollow, the Dominion having rewritten their minds with hybrid architect patterns, turning them into living terminals. But when one attacked with inhuman speed, Seren moved like lightning, her blade slicing through the air with the flame of human ferocity machines could never duplicate. And as the bunker collapsed under the strain of awakened systems, they dragged out a single, stable, altered human whose final conscious words repeated a chilling sequence. The architects awake. Humanity is the key, the key, the key. Before collapsing into convulsions, forcing Sev to restrain him in a cryostasis pod. But the moment the Horizon lifted into the sky, the clouds split open with the thunderous descent of Dominion Vorak hunters, soldiers engineered to embody perfect discipline, a hive-linked force optimized for cold efficiency, their vessels cutting through the air like obsidian blades, and the Horizon shook as Taro took the helm with desperation and brilliance, pulling off maneuvers no Dominion algorithm had ever accounted for, spiraling between orbital ruins as Seren routed weapons power and Sev calculated firing vectors with microsecond precision, Lyra screaming over the intercom as the engines groaned under impossible stress, and Rion realized in a moment of blazing clarity that the only path to survival was utter, unrestrained, human madness. With shields collapsing, he ordered a full reverse burn straight toward the Vorak flagship, a move so suicidal that even the hive-linked minds hesitated, breaking their perfect rhythm for the first time in their existence. And in that heartbeat of confusion, Lyra activated the Golden Shard, unleashing a cascading pulse of architect code that overloaded the Vorak neural lattice and sent their fleet spiraling into disarray. And as the Horizon punched into slipstream, the final echo of the architect's signal whispered through the ship's hull like a breath from the beginning of time. Humanity will awaken what sleeps.
sending a shockwave through Rion's mind as he realized the Dominion was not the true enemy, but merely a puppet resurrected by something older, something waiting beyond the boundaries of the known universe, something that believed humans were the ignition key to a power the galaxy feared. And as the Horizon hurtled toward Terran command carrying proof of a cosmic war brewing in the dark, Rion knew the galaxy expected humanity to kneel, to retreat, to cower before ancient empires, but they didn't know humanity. They didn't know the species that survived extinction-level events with spit, rage, and duct tape, the species that waged wars not for conquest, but because they refused to be erased. The species that turned desperation into ingenuity, madness into strategy, and fear into fury. And as the Horizon's crew stood bruised but unbroken on the bridge, stars rushing past them like silver rain, they understood the truth the architects had whispered in their coded dreams. Humanity was dangerous not because of strength, numbers, or technology, but because of the relentless will to fight for tomorrow even when tomorrow seemed impossible. Because every human carried within them the same unstoppable spark, a spark the architects needed, the Dominion feared, and the galaxy was about to witness. For the coming war would not be fought between empires or machines, but between those who believed destiny was predetermined and those reckless humans who carved destiny into the bones of the universe with their bare hands. And in that realization, Captain Rion Solas whispered a vow that would echo across 1,000 star systems in the years to come. If the architects want humanity, the galaxy better pray they never find out what that truly means. And as the Horizon tore through the glowing slipstream corridor carrying the weight of revelations that could shatter empires, the crew struggled to steady their breath, the adrenaline crash settling over them like a cold mist. But before the quiet could settle, alarms flared again, as Sev detected fluctuations rippling through the slipstream itself, the walls of the corridor trembling as if something vast was shifting beyond human perception. Lyra's voice cracked as she announced spatial distortions ahead, and Rion's eyes narrowed with the instinct of a man who'd lived too long in the void to trust coincidence. Because distortions inside Slipstream weren't natural. They were interference. Interference caused by something enormous, something powerful, something that knew they were running. Suddenly, the corridor tore open like stretched fabric, and the Horizon was thrown out of Slipstream and into a region of space so black it seemed to swallow the stars, a void field where even starlight died before reaching the hole. And Seren gripped her armrests as the ship drifted through the silent abyss, feeling something ancient watching them from the dark, something older than empires, older than time measured by sentient minds, something that felt familiar in ways none of the crew could name. Then a faint golden pulse rippled through the darkness, the same frequency as the architect shard, skipping across the hull like a heartbeat echoing through the bones of the ship. And Lyra sure she heard a whisper, not through speakers, not through comms, but inside her own mind. An echo of syllables shaped in a language she didn't know yet somehow understood, a message that felt like it was meant for her alone. Awaken the memory of fire. And before she could speak, the void erupted with colossal geometric structures materializing like the skeletons of stars drifting into shape, glittering golden fragments assembling themselves into patterns that defied physics, forming a colossal ring beyond comprehension, a gateway humming with dormant power. Sev trembled not physically, but in the micro-twitch of his internal gyros as he recognized the architecture. Architect gateways, theorized to exist but never found, structures that could fold galaxies like cloth and move fleets across the universe with a single thought. But this one was broken, shattered, dormant, cracked open by some cataclysm older than memory. But the moment the Horizon approached, the gateway pulsed with life, sensing Lyra reacting to her presence, bending space around the ship like a colossal lung taking its first breath in millennia. Rion barked orders telling Taro to pull them back, but the ship was dragged forward by invisible currents, drawn into the heart of the gateway as Seren's hand tightened around her blade, ready to face whatever emerged on the other side. and in an explosion of golden light, the horizon was hurled across an impossible distance and spat out into orbit of a world none of them recognized. A colossal planet encased in metallic rings, vast monolithic structures orbiting like titanic satellites, each etched with glowing fractal engravings that pulsed in harmony with Lyra's heartbeat. Then the sensors picked up something horrifying. Dominion fleets, dozens of them, encircling the planet like vultures around a giant, their ships dwarfed by the architect megastructures yet positioned with military precision. And Taro's breath hitched as he muttered that no one brings that many warships unless they're trying to wake or control something immense. Just as the Horizon's presence was detected, the Dominion fleet lit up with weapon signatures, preparing to eliminate the intruder, and Rion ordered evasive action, but the architect systems on the planet reacted to the Horizon again, emitting a golden shockwave that disabled Dominion engines across the fleet in a single pulse, leaving their warships drifting powerless. Lyra felt the energy move through her bloodstream like electricity, and Sev confirmed the resonance was attuned to her biofield specifically, an impossibility by all logical means. Seren exhaled